What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Kicking It Onside. Lots to talk about tonight, especially about last Thursday. I was thoroughly shocked because I can honestly tell you, as a Packer fan, I didn't think the game was even going to be close. Come on, people. Give the man some fucking credit where credit is due. If it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers, I don't think Green Bay would have been in that. I'm crediting Aaron Rodgers for that game, but I will credit the defense also because they played not perfect, but they played well. They played very well. They game plan one going in, and I thought the game plan was just to let Kyler Murray do what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow. I was thoroughly shocked. I was impressed. I thought they were going to blow it at the end because they were doing typical Green Bay bullshit in the fourth quarter. Let's play prevent when we shouldn't be playing prevent because we're only up by fucking 3. They're up by 10 or 14. I would have been like, who gives a shit?
Right.
But it is what it is. Bobbitt is not here tonight, so I will be taking over College Corner. I did watch the Badger game. I think I watched another game too. I can't remember really. We were so busy on Saturday. I wasn't feeling the greatest. I've been battling the gout up and down my ankle, all the way up to my knee. My knee was swollen like a son of a bitch. And I know that Rayshon's seen it. It's looking better, but it still hurts. I can't bend it like I could, but I'm feeling better. So with that being said, and I do have Heather over here. She will do the fantasy. Her job is the fantasy and the picks and stuff, the scoreboards at the end of the show. So let's get into it. I want to go over some news because there's some big news that happened, and it's not just the trades. I'll talk about the trades that happened today or in the last or this year period.
Right.
A lot of movement this year, I can tell you that much. A lot more than usual. The one big thing is Deshaun Watson did not get moved this year. He is still a Houston Texan, which is exactly what I fucking said was gonna fucking happen because nobody was gonna be dumb enough to fucking trade away all of their draft capital for one fucking guy who actually may never play football again. That's all I'm gonna fucking say. So Deshaun Watson did not move. He's still a Texan until he goes to prison. So that being said, I'm sorry, man. He deserves if the allegations are true, the guy deserves to sit in fucking jail. Speaking of jail, Henry Ruggs, wide receiver from the Las Vegas Raiders, is being charged with the DUI because of an accident that caused a death.
Ooh.
My thing is, and Dante Stallworth a few years back, if any of you remember that, he got off and had to do community service, and he had to do, I think he had to do stuff in front of, like, what do you call it? Motivational speakers do it, speaking of their experience because he killed somebody from being on drugs or whatever, being drunk. But Henry Ruggs is being charged. Now, my personal feeling, he needs to sit in jail for manslaughter. He needs to sit in jail for a few more years than just the time he's going to serve as a DUI, which is what Dante Stallworth got. Because it didn't help Dante Stallworth. Dante Stallworth ended up doing it again. So that's all I'll say about that. Derrick Henry is going to be out for a while. He has to have ankle surgery. Or he had it. He's resting well. I don't know how long he will be out for, but he's going to be out for a significant amount of time. So that being said, just if you have him on your fantasy football league, you might want to reconsider even thinking about starting him on your team. Now, a lot of movement happened. Rayshawn, your thoughts on? And I'm sorry because I'm trying to go through this so we can get to the games. I'm sorry.
Uh,
Give me your thoughts and your opinion, and you can have a different opinion than I can, and that's fine.
mhm.
Give me your thoughts and opinions on the first. That's the Henry Ruggs story.
This is the DUI
The
one.
DUI.
I agree he should be sitting in jail because he did kill somebody,
Mhm.
and it's against the law to be driving drunk and driving. So there's that.
I am as guilty as the next person I have, but I live in such a small area that I have been lucky to be. I've never had an accident.
Hmm.
I'm lucky to have never had an. I don't drink and drive anymore. If I know I'm driving home now because I usually have Wendy with me, I quit drinking up to a certain point, and I will deal with the fucking headache.
Right.
So, but that being
But
said,
that just make you responsible now.
yeah, I mean, I'm smarter and wiser.
Right.
I'm
But
all
yeah,
set.
like I agree he deserved to be locked up.
Now, I'm gonna caveat that with that doesn't make him a bad person. It just makes him a irresponsible and poor decision maker. That doesn't make him a bad person that he killed somebody because I'm sure he didn't mean to do it. And you can people that have lost loved ones with drinking and driving. As I'm not justifying anything he did. All I'm saying is it doesn't make him a bad person.
But I mean, it doesn't. But
It's
try
not a
explaining that to the family, right?
Yeah, it's hard to explain that to a family who lost a loved one in an accident like that, and I can completely understand that. But I can't sit here. I would probably knee jerk reaction, probably say the same thing. He deserves to sit in prison for the rest of his life. He's a piece of shit. He's this, that, or the other thing. But I would probably come back down off of that and say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, he made a mistake. That doesn't make and I'm not like one of these people that wants to condemn somebody. I want to get to know that person and why he did it and the kind of person that he is because you can make whole different there if you look at some of the people that have done this, some of the people, not all of them, some of the people that are good in heart that make bad decisions are good
Hmm.
people. And you
Yeah.
see some of those stories and you see some of those families that lost loved ones because of what this person did. They actually, I mean, it's hard to do, and it takes a real human being to do such a thing by
Hmm.
letting that person, say it's okay. I understand you're not a bad person. You didn't do this on purpose. Not saying we're going to be best friends, but if you ever get into that situation again, I would be. If you ever get into that situation again, please do not hesitate to call me. I will come pick you up. Okay? That's the kind of person I am. So just so everybody knows, if I lost a loved one because somebody wrecked a car, ran into them because they were drunk, I'd like to get to know that person first. And if that person's a good person, I would honestly say, if you fall off that wagon, don't call me. I will give that person my number. You call me, and I will come and get you. That's
Hmm.
the kind of person I am. That's just me personally. Uh,
Yeah, it's not a lot of people that's like that.
no, no. I mean, this world is full of hateful people, and they
Yeah.
just want to hate people. They don't even want to fucking. They just want to hate. They don't want to. They don't. People are always looking for a reason to hate you. not looking for a reason to like you. And that's
Mm-hmm.
so sad in today's society. What do you think about the Derrick Henry thing? I know he hurt it. I've seen him hurt his ankle, but
Derrick Henry hurt his ankle. It will hurt the Titans, but I don't think it hurt them so much this past Sunday. But along in the upcoming weeks, it probably will put a dent into
they're going to lose
they
if they're Derrick Henry is their offense. Although I will say this, AJ Brown actually looked really good from what
yeah,
I've
because
seen.
Miles Sanders hurt his ankle too, but he hurt his ankle last week against was it a Raiders that he was playing against?
Say it
Uh,
again.
the Miles Sanders, he also hurt his ankle, but I think he hurt his ankle last week, and I think he hurt his ankle last week, and then he played still, and then he just hurt it again. So now I think he's out for 2, 3 weeks.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. What's the name again?
Miles Sanders.
Who?
Sanders.
Miles Sanders? Okay. Okay. I didn't know that. I know he was hurt. He wasn't playing. I think with the Philadelphia Eagles, and me and you have talked about this numerous times, if it would run the ball more
Yeah.
than trying to become this air raid juggernaut type offense, I think they'd be so much better off because they have a superstar in waiting at running back. Miles Sanders is spectacular. And to
Uh-huh.
Cody's point, he's like, I'm about big running backs. You ain't gonna see a big run. Derrick Henry and AJ Dillon are generational talents. You're not a lot of the running backs that you see that big become fullbacks. They're just really good at being able to run the ball.
Right.
So Deron Dane, I mean, he was 5'11", 240, and never panned out. And he's a leading rusher in college football all time. He was a first round pick, but then the Giants, because they really know how to fucking develop their talent. Bunch of fucking clones. All right. So so that being said, let's get to the trades. And some of the trades that happened, and some of these happened today. Can you turn the overhead light on? I can't see the shit. So I gotta put on my glasses. Yeah, go ahead, motherfuckers. Go ahead and make fun of me. Um, Daniel Brown was traded to Kansas City for Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, who was an offensive lineman in Kansas City. He was traded to the Jets, so it was a one-for-one trade. There was no draft picks traded or anything like that. That one, the only significant was Duvernay-Tardif.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know too much about Daniel Brown and how good he is, but Charles Omenihu was traded from Houston to San Francisco for a sixth round pick in 2023. So it's not going to be anything significant for this year, which tells me that he's just he's a tier player. What? I know what he is. I just don't know if he's worth a trade to one-on-one. Honestly, I think the Jets should have given up more. With Duvernay-Tardif is a pretty good offensive lineman. He was signed to come in and start. So go ahead. I know
So
you got a question. Go ahead. You had a question, right, Sean? Oh,
no,
okay.
no, no, no.
Here's a significant one. This just tells you what they think of the player. The Pittsburgh Steelers traded Melvin Ingram to Kansas City for a sixth round pick.
Is
Melvin
this the
Ingram
same
was a
Ingram from
pretty good pass rusher just last year.
that's the same Ingram that was on the Saints and the
Nope, nope, nope,
Patriots?
nope, 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 nope. So Mark Ingram, who was drafted by the New Orleans Saints, who played for Houston this year, when you were all talking about, well, Houston doesn't have any running backs, he's not bad. He's actually pretty good. He's a locker room leader. He was the reason why that running back core in Baltimore last year was so good. He brought what's his nuts? J.K. Dobbins along.
Mm.
But they didn't re-sign him this year because they thought J.K. Dobbins was good to go and he would be able to take over from there. He was traded for a 7th-round pick to New Orleans, and he had a pretty decent game on Sunday night. Was it Sunday night? He had a pretty decent game on Sunday night. Speaking of that, fucking Buccaneers suck dick. They are terrible.
They are. I was
You
looking at
lose
the
to a
game.
bunch of fucking scrubs.
I couldn't believe that.
Your team lost to Trevor Siemian. I dare Rick to come in here and talk shit now.
Now he's quiet.
Joe Flacco was traded to New York, the Jets, for a 6th-round pick. However, it conveys a 5th-round pick if Flacco plays at least 50% of 4 games in 2021. So what all that's saying is if he plays half a game for 4 games, so he plays 120 minutes, you know what I mean? You get what I'm saying. So if he plays 1/2 of a game for 4 games, that pick goes up to a 5th round. This one was done just a while ago. Kenny Young was traded to Denver for a 2024 6th and 7th round pick from LA.
2020. Which year?
2024 6th
Oh.
and 7th round pick. Well, he's not that huge. He's not that big of a player. He's big enough to where you need to give up 2 draft picks for him. That's coming from the Rams. So he was traded to Denver. I think that's what it says. He was traded to Denver. If not, it's the other way. He was traded to the Rams to Denver, or traded to the Rams from Denver for a 6th and 7th round pick. Zach Ertz. Apparently that trade didn't work out for fucking Cardinals because fucking do anything against Green Bay. Had a couple of nice plays, but that was about it. Just let's add weapons. Let's add weapons and then not utilize them. What the fuck kind of shit was that? This is why I don't think Arizona's as good as everybody thought they were. Arizona picked up Zach Ertz for a 2022 5th-round pick and Tay Gowan from Philadelphia. So you got, and Tay Gowan, I can't remember what he was. I think he was I looked him up, but I didn't really look hard enough. Well, I mean, Rayshawn should know. It's his team.
I forgot. That was that week, and that was that week alone. I didn't even know who that guy was. I think he's from Washington, I believe.
Okay. Well, either way, Stephon Gilmore was traded to Carolina from New England for a 2023 6th-round pick.
Oh, no, he's from, fuck, I'm saying Washington. I'm sorry. I'm thinking out loud. What you were saying?
What I said?
Just now. I was thinking out loud just now.
Oh, well, no, what'd you say?
Oh, I was like, what? Why am I saying Washington? The Cardinals. He was from the Cardinals.
Yes.
I
just don't remember what position he played. Just type in Tay Gowan, football, and it should pop up. I mean, I can do it.
He's a cornerback.
Okay, he's a defensive back, something that they need depth on. So it's a good pickup for them. The Stephon Gilmore trade, although he was Defensive Player of the Year, he's injury prone. So why would Carolina give up more than a 6th-round pick for him? I wouldn't. I would have fucking let him go to free agency and tried to pick him up. And then Green Bay probably would have tried to pick him up, but they went and got Rasul Douglas, who won the game for Green Bay on Thursday. And then Carolina again, they traded their a fifth round pick and a third round pick in 2022 and Dan Arnold, who was their starting tight end, who was actually starting to come around for CJ Henderson because they need defensive back help. Now, I don't know what Carolina's trying to do, but how many defensive backs do they need?
They're trying to create the Redskins defense scheme.
Whatever. Whatever. It's not working. Yeah, they're very good. All right. So that being said, let's get to the games this week. This past week, did we talk about the Bills and Titans?
The Bills and the Titans. That's
Did
when
we or did
last
we
time.
not? So the Bills lost to the Titans, right?
When was this?
2 weeks ago, actually.
Let me see.
Okay, the Bills did lose to the Titans.
I forgot we
Yes,
picked like a Thursday
I
game.
I know, but we picked this game. We didn't have a show. It just roll with me here because we didn't talk about it. I don't think the Bills at Titans. I don't really remember it. I just remember that the Bills lost to the Titans because we were talking about how good the Bills were. Well, not as good as the Titans. All
Well, they
right.
lost by 3.
Well, that was actually Monday night's game. That was Monday night's game.
Okay.
So this Thursday's game, and I've kind of alluded to it a couple of times already. The Packers at the Cardinals. Again, me going into this game as a Packers fan,
Uh-huh.
I wasn't expecting Green Bay to really hang around very long because they were missing. And I know Green Bay went. I kept on hearing, well, Green Bay went 6-0 without Devante Adams. Yeah, but they don't have any other pieces. They didn't have any other people. Their top three receivers were out for this game. They were playing with practice squad players on offense. And they still don't have their offensive line all back together. And the Cardinals defense has been playing pretty good. They have all three levels are pretty decent. Boy, was I wrong. Green Bay pretty much dominated that game. I mean, the Cardinals took a 7-0 lead, and then from there on, Green Bay pretty much controlled the flow of the game, except at the end. And then Green Bay decided to play. I don't know why they decided to play prevent defense in the final minute. They had 97 yards to go, was it, Heather? They had 97 yards to go. Just play defense. If they beat you, they beat you. You get the ball back, you drive down, and you score. Because
Right.
honestly, the Cardinals could not stop Green Bay on offense. So Green Bay had time. Now, they didn't have timeouts. So they would
Oh,
have
they
had to
didn't.
have scored a touchdown. Say it again?
They didn't have no timeouts. You said?
No, they had to use them all because of clock management. They didn't do a very good job in the fourth quarter of managing the clock at all. I
Oh,
was a
okay.
little frustrated with that. If there was one thing that I would have fixed in that game as a coach, I would have had better clock management. And you could see what the issue was. People weren't getting lined up in the proper slot. The receivers weren't. And this was where I thought Green Bay would fail was with the receivers who weren't used to the offense yet. They
Mm-hmm.
were all over the place. It's okay. They ended up Rasul Douglas, who was a practice squad player for the Cardinals, actually um, picked off the game-winning pass.
Nice.
Yes, I'm changing my glasses because these are blue screen glasses. Now I got shit.
Just wear both of them.
I can't, so I'll just do this. That's why I've got them down here like this, so I can do this and then I can do this. All right. So, did you watch that game at all?
I don't believe I watched the Thursday night game.
It was a good game. Heather and I watched it. I was in Utah, and Heather and I watched it. I was impressed with what Green Bay did. Defense didn't play perfectly, but they played well enough to win. In fact, they played well enough to win all game long, except for the final 3 minutes of the game. I was a little frustrated that they decided that, hey, we're just going to play off of you, so hey, you can have 20 yards underneath. It didn't serve its purpose. Play defense. You were doing it all game long. Play defense, man. That's all I can say.
They should have got a
So it was a
flag
good
for
game.
taunting.
Say it again.
I said they should have got flagged for taunting because that was a taunt play.
What Tom
Meaning,
play?
like, instead of playing defense, they just was playing something else you just said.
Well, that's not taunting. That's just stupidity. That's just plain dumbassery. Um,
Plain dumb.
I mean, Joe Barry wasn't there. Everybody's like, "Oh, we don't need Joe Barry as a defensive coordinator." Well, he game planned that game. The guys that were
Mm.
calling the plays were calling his plays, so everybody can shut the fuck up about Joe Barry. I know he's had some issues in previous teams, but he actually coached a pretty good game. And he did coach the Detroit Lions, who had a pretty good defense. They couldn't finish games. All right. Speaking of the Lions, they can't finish games either. The Bengals at the Jets.
I saw very little of this game, and when I was watching this game, the Bengals was actually winning. I
I,
don't know
I,
what
I,
happened.
I put something in the chat, and I understand that a lot of people. Tim Dion, which he's a good friend of ours. Well, he's a acquaintance more or less. He's good. He plays Call of Duty with Heather and OK Fabe and you and Basement. And because he was a former referee, so if you have any questions
Oh, like
about
NFL referee?
about any football questions, like why was that made, he'll explain it from his perspective as being a referee. Which I'm grateful that we have that in the chat because we haven't had that before. Because I'm a former coach, so I'll argue for the player all the time,
Right.
not more or less than I would for the referee. So if you've noticed, I haven't been bitching about the referees as much as I have because we
Mm-hmm.
have Tim in our chat who is a referee and can explain those kinds of things. Now, I may argue with him on some things, but that's just the coach in me. And I get it. But I respect his opinion because I know how hard it is to be a fucking referee and have a coach yelling in your ear saying, why didn't you make that call? Well, number one, I didn't see it, asshole. And number two, it's not my job to make that call. So and you have to remember, I was a high school coach, so we only had 4 referees. We didn't have the full slate of 10 referees on the field. They can't afford that. That's a lot of money that the high
Yeah.
school, not the school itself, but the organization, the high school organization has to pay. It's not an easy job. I respect those guys, and I respect his opinion. I'm just gonna say that right now. So, if you ever have any questions as to why, I'm pretty sure he will be more than happy to answer that question for you. I will answer it, but I will give you the coach's answer
Right.
one way or the other. He can give you a different perspective. And I'm not saying that he had Tim. I'm not saying that you have to, but I'm just saying thank you for being in our chat because you have brought some of the things. Like I will say, I hear you, but you have to understand from a coach's perspective, and he does. And my coordinator, I asked him questions. The guy that I worked for, he's a referee, and I explained that. I asked those
Mm.
questions. He goes, well, sometimes you got to process shit. We can't just call it right away if flag doesn't come out. That's why sometimes you see late flags. Referees are processing their thoughts because it happens so
God,
quick. And in
that
the
makes sense.
NFL, things happen so fucking fast. You miss some things. It's the human error element of football. But back to the Bengals and Jets. This was a human error. The Bengals don't suck, but to say that they don't or that they're playing to the level of their competition just solidifies my argument that they aren't as good as everybody thought they were when
Hmm.
you say, well, they're just playing to the level of their competition. Okay, they played against Green Bay, great. What's to say if they played in the game this week that they probably would have fucking done the same thing? Because the Bengals should have won that game. It had every chance to win that game, to be honest with you, against Green Bay. They just didn't
Yep.
capitalize on it. It's again, they didn't finish the job. Is this a trend with Cincinnati now? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Because who do they play next week? Yeah, the Bengals. Then they play the
The Chiefs.
Browns. So again, the Browns are another good football team. They can't be playing like this against the Browns because the Browns will beat them.
Do you think
Um,
it's confidence?
no,
No.
I think it was playing to the to the level. Some teams do that, and I have never figured out why teams do that. You should bring it 100% every time. You're getting paid millions of dollars to play this game.
Hmm.
Act like it,
Your objective is to win.
right? Act like it. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right,
that's all
right.
I'm saying. I'm not saying the Bengals are bad. I think they're a great football team. I mean, they gave Green Bay a run for their money. That's the level of competition that they should be playing with that every week. That's what I'm saying. Not, you can't play to the level. If you're playing to the level of the Jets, then you're just overlooking them. That's all you're
Yeah.
doing. The Titans at the Colts. The Titans lost Derrick Henry for a few weeks, maybe the entire season. I don't know. But the Colts sure as the fuck are not winning that division if the Titans don't.
I just don't understand, man. They had that game.
I
They had
think
it.
the Titans are the best team in that division. The Colts, they suck.
And I only wanted them to win because I did pick them for the picks. I wouldn't be cheering for no damn Colt.
That's what you get for picking the Colts.
Okay, now.
The Rams at the Texans. I didn't see this game. I'm pretty, the Rams dominated Houston. I think. Yeah, wasn't it
Mhm.
like 41-17 or something like that? Or wasn't it closer than that? Wasn't it?
Wait, what are you saying?
The Rams at the Texans.
Yeah, that game was 38-22.
Yeah, so it really wasn't that impressive.
No. You got what you got out of a Texans game.
Well, you got if that's what you're going to get out of a Rams game, they aren't the best team in the NFL, like everybody's saying. Sorry, letting the Texans hang
Ram.
around. Come on, the Steelers at the Browns. The Steelers. I told everybody, do not sleep on Pittsburgh. They still have Ben Roethlisberger. He will figure out a way to win a game, which he did.
Yeah, I see that. It's just I don't know. The Browns did put up some type of fight, but it just wasn't good enough.
Well, the Browns were favored in this game,
Yeah, they were. Because I
and
don't know what's going to happen to the Steelers. And the Steelers be like, don't count us out. We still here.
well, that's my point. The Steelers are a good football team. They still are. They have a great defense. Their offense is meh, but it's
But
good
that
enough.
was,
It's good enough that their defense can stop teams, and it's good enough to get enough points to win games. They did it last year and won the
mhm.
AFC North. They beat Baltimore twice in the regular season. So, and Baltimore had a pretty formidable defense. This one I'm pretty sure you want to talk about the Eagles at the Lions. What can you say about those Lions, man?
I mean, did we think that the Lions were going to even beat the Eagles? I did. because the way the Eagles was been playing all week. I mean all season. It just honestly, I had no faith in the Eagles going into that game. But
You
then
you did pick against the Lions, didn't you?
I did pick the
And
Lions
then you
against the
switched
Eagles.
it. You switched it right before the game started. Gotcha.
But I was like, you know what? Let me just go with the Eagles, And honestly speaking, yes, it's 44-6, but it's the Lions, man. I can't really be happy about that win. I mean, a win is a win, but
I would be. Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't be happy.
41 to what was the score of the game? 41 to
44 to
6?
6. 44 to 6.
Come
And the
on,
Lions
man.
got six
I
points the
that
last.
just Okay, so what I'm saying to you is, and this is me not even an Eagles fan, but you got to look at it like this. How much have the Eagles struggled this year, right?
Yeah.
Look at what they are able to do versus what they haven't done. So this is one of those games where I'm sorry, but the Lions you want to play every week because you get healthy. You figure out things to. That's like playing a fucking practice squad. Is
That's
Dan
funny.
Campbell is Dan Campbell a good coach? Sure, but he can't play all fucking 22 positions on the fucking field. The Lions as players are absolute shit. And until they change, get some of them fucking guys out of there, they are not going anywhere.
Um, I believe his name is Jordan Howard. He had a
Jordan
great showing.
Howard, he played for Chicago and then he was picked up by the Eagles.
Yeah, he
He was a
just got
leading
promoted.
rusher. He was a leading rusher for the Bears. I think he was leading rusher in the NFL for the Bears one year, or close to it. And then he came to the Eagles, won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did his thing that night. I give him that. I don't know what's going on between Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith only got like target once,
Okay.
and Dallas Goddard got targeted 6 times. But I don't know. It's fine because I got tired of him throwing to Devontae Smith all the time, and he
Hmm.
kept missing those catches, and it was pissing me off.
Well, Devonte Smith is a rookie, so that could
I
have been
mean,
a
he's a rookie,
coach. That could have been a coach thing, though. That could have been a coach thing. Stop looking
but
for Devonte Smith all
I
the
don't.
time.
I want him to stop looking for Devontae Smith all the time. I
No, no,
really do
well,
because
he shouldn't be his first read every single time because then essentially you look at Aaron Rodgers, okay, and I'll use him as an example. How often yes, Aaron Rodgers, Devonte Adams is the best receiver in the NFL, but you can't look to him every time you throw the ball. You have to go away from him at times. You have to spread the ball around. Then that opens up, who are we going to cover? We can't
yeah.
just put all fucking 7 guys on fucking Devonte Adams because he's not throwing to anybody else. That's the problem. And I think that would have a lot to do with it. Jalen Hurts was just looking. That's his first read every fucking time. And they're like, okay, we're just going to triple cover him because all he's going to do is throw to him. And
Yep.
it was causing Devontae or Jalen Hurts to throw low, throw high, throw away, throw to the side, whatever. Or throw an interception. I don't know how many interceptions he has, but
Or if Devontae Smith is not open, okay, then I'll run the ball myself.
well, okay, so he is a running quarterback. And he's a lot like Kyler Murray in the fact that when he was at Oklahoma, the,
Uh-huh.
the coach, Lincoln Riley, and you could see it, he's like, okay, your first and second and third read isn't count in your head. Once you hit 3 seconds, you better run the ball. If because the lane's gonna die on you quick, which is what he
Yeah.
did, and that's probably what he's doing. Yeah, you can't sit in the pocket for 8 seconds all the time like Tom Brady does, but we'll get
Hmm.
to that. Um, So yeah, and that's all I'm saying with Jalen Hurts, and that could have been the issue. So the coach probably said, "Look, we can't just keep looking at Jalen or at Devante Smith all the time. We have to look away from him. He may be a decoy at times. He may be the 10th option
Yeah.
on some of these routes. Sometimes you just have to somewhere else, man. You can't keep looking at the same guy every single time." So that's probably what happened. And if it pissed off Devontae Smith, oh well, poopy pants. This is the NFL. You can't be the focal point of everything. Terrell Owens used to do that.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Alshon Jeffrey used to do that shit.
Yeah.
Um,
But overall, it was a good game for the Eagles.
right,
Come with the same energy next week against the Chargers.
right. We'll see. We'll see. If they can play like they did this week and bring that same energy, I don't think they're going to beat them. But hey, you never know. The Bengals lost to the Jets, so you just never fucking know. Any given Sunday, that term, any given Sunday.
Yeah.
49ers at Bears. Next game. Look, the Bears are not ready. Matt Nagy needs to go. I will
Mm-hmm.
continue to say that every week. Let's look at the NFC North. As of right now, Green Bay has more wins than every team in the NFC North combined. The other three teams have the same amount of wins as the Packers do.
That game was actually a decent fun game per se. It was like a back and forth for a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, and then the 49ers just took the lead.
Right.
But they kept answering the Bears offense.
Right.
What I'm trying to say.
Nope, I get you. Panthers at the Falcons. I said the Falcons were going to win this game. Didn't the Falcons win?
No.
Did the Falcons win or did the Panthers win?
The
Okay. It just goes to show the Falcons just don't have what it takes. Calvin Ridley, that's the other thing. Calvin Ridley is stepping away from the game for
mhm.
mental well being. As long as that's what it is, I'm okay with it because there is a lot of pressure on these guys to perform because they're getting millions of dollars to do it, and that puts a lot of pressure on a player. And mentally, sometimes they need a break, and I can understand that. Being a former soldier, sometimes you mentally need a break from everything. So, with that being said, I hope he gets better. I hope he comes back because he is a pretty damn good receiver. I don't think he's the reason why they lost. I just don't think Atlanta has the personnel at this time to compete with anybody else in the NFL other than the Lions, the Giants, maybe the Washington football team.
I think Matt. I think this is the game Matt Ryan got his hand stepped on and it was bloody.
I heard about that. We were
Yeah.
actually what were we doing Sunday? It was Halloween, so I was watching a Packer game, and then I watched a little bit of the second game, which was I watched till halftime. Buccaneers, the Saints, right? And yeah, the Buccaneers at the Saints, and then we went up to my mother took Wendy trick or treating, which she absolutely thoroughly enjoyed. She knew
That's good.
exactly what to do. Heather would walk her up, and she would knock on the door and hold out her bucket and go trick or treat. So it was pretty cool to see. First time she's ever gotten to go trick or treating because she's
Right.
either been sick or because COVID.
COVID. Yeah.
So her first two Halloweens were a bust. This one was pretty good. And we only did one street. We didn't do like she got her bucket was full of candy. So
That's what's up.
that's what you get for
Glad
having
you
a
had a
cute.
good
That's
time.
what you get for having a cute 2-year-old, I guess. So she didn't wake up with the sniffles on Monday, so she wasn't feeling too. I wasn't feeling well on Monday either, so I didn't work yesterday. I wasn't feeling too well. I worked today, but I still wasn't feeling the greatest. But I'm feeling a little better now. So
Good.
back to games. The Dolphins at the Bills. The Dolphins suck. Moving on. Patriots at the Chargers. Who won that game? Patriots?
Patriots.
Patriots are better than everybody thought. Which again, I'm just gonna fucking tell you, Bill Belichick is the reason the Patriots are good, not Tom Brady. Tom
Okay, now.
Brady beat the Patriots, okay, because Tom Brady has more weapons than everybody in the NFL, which they should be fucking the best team in fucking football and undefeated. We'll get to that though. We'll get to that. I'm simmer down. I just love it when Tom Brady looks like a 44-year-old doofus, even though I'm 49. You understand what I'm saying?
I get you.
I'm sick and tired of them talking. Well, he could play until he's 50. Okay, just wait until you turn 50. You're gonna get arthritis. It's gonna hit you like a fuck. Because I was healthy up until I was 44. Just
Okay,
wait.
now.
Just
Let
wait,
them know.
motherfucker. Just wait.
But
You
I feel
hit
like they
you,
building up.
the day you turn 45, you can't get out of fucking bed. Ask Heather. She knows. She's there with me every day. I struggle getting out of bed. Jaguars at Seahawks. Jaguars, Tony Khan. Come
I
on,
was
man.
surprised about that. I was surprised.
What were you surprised about?
The Seahawks hasn't been playing like the Seahawks, and I don't think
Did
Russell
the
was playing.
Seahawks did the Seahawks win?
They did win. That's
Okay.
what I was saying. I was surprised
You were
because
surprised that they beat the Jaguars.
I
The
was.
Jaguars are one of the worst teams in football.
I agree.
I think Seattle's a middle of the road team, so I expected Seattle to win this game.
I don't know, man. Not too long ago, we went against the Jaguars and they ended up winning.
I still don't think they're very good.
And I agree. It's just that I don't know, man. The way Seahawks has been playing, I don't know. I just thought that the Jaguars would at least capitalize on the mishaps of the Seahawks. That's all.
They're not as good as the Seahawks, though. That's the thing. You look at who the Seahawks beat the week before, though. They beat the Saints, who beat the Buccaneers. So how bad are they really? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Well, the
I get
Saints
it.
beat the Seahawks, but barely. And then the Seahawks. Look at what the Saints did to the Buccaneers. So how
Yeah,
bad really are the Seahawks? It's just they've hit us. Jaguars have a ways to go.
it's a long way.
The Cons need to stop worrying about what happens on AAW and start worrying about what Jacksonville does because people aren't showing up to their games. If they aren't going to show up to their games, they're not going to have enough money to fucking keep AEW running. That's all I'm
Mm,
going to say. And if you have a problem with that, at the Cold Bone Show is my Twitter handle. You can argue with me all fucking day if you want. Try me.
but
WCW. Ted Turner tried that shit, and he owned the Atlanta Braves. He had to sell the shit because he couldn't fucking compete. Nobody was going to the fucking Braves games, and the Braves were pretty good.
mm,
People weren't coming to their games because he was more worried about what WCW was doing. It's another
history
reason
repeats
why
itself.
WCW failed. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying history just repeats itself. That's
It
all.
will if they don't change their shit.
Hmm.
Focus on what puts money in your fucking pocket. And it sure's not fucking ain't AEW because you're paying out of pocket for that shit.
So what happens when Vince McMahon tried football?
It actually worked. It would have worked, but it failed because it was disorganized and the rules made no fucking sense. It would have worked this time, but the damn pandemic happened.
Yeah.
In my my eyes. People aren't watching it anyway because who wants to watch football in the summer? I'd rather watch baseball. Um, where were we? Washington at the Broncos. Broncos won this game, yes.
Yes, they did.
And
Why?
Washington,
You know what?
go ahead.
That's a scam. That game was a scam
Why do you say that?
because they inducted what's his name? Um Peyton Manning that night.
Okay.
And all of a sudden the Broncos winning against Washington. Man, fuck that game.
Well, Washington right now, their offense is a little bit shaky. They look good against Green Bay, but
I don't know, man. Someone paid for that game. They paid for that win. Really, let us win. Let us win this game. I give
right,
you all this.
right. Buccaneers at Saints.
Yikes.
Who wants me to fucking shit on the Buccaneers? Raise your hand. Okay, Buccaneers are not as good as everybody thinks they are. Number one, Ndamukong Suh is a fucking piece of shit. Devin White can sugarcoat it by patting the quarterback on the head when he hits him late. Fucking Golston needed to be that front seven is very good and doesn't need to be a bunch of douchebags to the fucking quarterback when they don't get their fucking way. That
Hmm.
offensive line that they hold all the time. Finally, somebody calls them for their bullshit. Their center is a fucking cocksucker. I'd punt that fucker in the nuts any chance I got. I don't care if it gets me kicked out of the game or not. That Jensen is a piece of shit. He
Damn.
provokes people, he taunts people, and he never gets called for it. And I don't want to hear, well, he gets away with it. It's because he's good at it. You're lucky I wasn't reffing that game. I would have fucking thrown his ass the fuck out. I don't put up with that shit. Act like you've played fucking football your whole life. Don't be a dickhead.
Right.
Tom Brady looks 44. Leonard Fournette is a whiny little bitch. Mike Evans is a cancer because he's not getting the fucking ball. Their best receiver is Chris Godwin. At least he has a fucking shoulder on his fucking heads. Rob Gronkowski is a liability.
Hmm. He was there that night.
Yeah, he played and then got hurt.
He should have just continued to
There's
retire.
there I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if Green Bay will win, but I am looking forward to watching Green Bay play Tampa Bay if it comes to that. Because I don't think Tampa Bay can stop Green Bay. Green Bay's offensive line has looked pretty fucking good against some pretty good front sevens this year. That was my concern with Green Bay. They're getting Bakhtiari back apparently this week, hopefully this week. So now they're at pretty much full strength. They still don't have their Myers might still be out. That's all I'm gonna
You think
say.
you think if the Chiefs play the Buccaneers again that they could beat them?
Do I think that if the Chiefs played the Buccaneers, they could beat them? Yes. Oh, I think the Buccaneers will beat the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs are beating the Buccaneers.
Oh, okay. Yo, the
Yeah.
Chiefs is playing bad this year.
Well, they don't have a fucking defense. They never have. They've relied on their offense to. You know why the Chiefs aren't very good this year on defense? Because they aren't getting turnovers. That's how they won their games. It wasn't
Mm,
because they were good. It's because they got turnovers. They're an opportunistic football team, which is what a lot of teams are, but they just aren't getting those turnovers. It's
Understandable.
okay. It's okay if you don't win the fucking Super Bowl every fucking year. I'm
Right.
sorry. Tampa Bay is not very good. The NFC South is borderline bad. I mean, yes, Green Bay lost to New Orleans, but if you played them again, I don't think Green Bay's losing to New Orleans.
Yeah, they barely did survive the Giants.
So
That
the Buccaneers, you better fix your shit. All you fans out there talking your shit, you better hope to fucking God that you have your shit fixed when you get to the fucking playoffs or you're not fucking going anywhere.
they love them some Brady.
Well, that offensive line got fucking. You go up against the good front, you put a good front seven up against fucking the Buccaneers, they aren't very good.
That dude Brady got sacked and he didn't even see it coming.
Tom Brady looked 44.
Hmm.
Every loss he's had this year, and even the game against, even a game against, everybody is talking, well, the ball was slippery. He never had that fucking problem when he was in New England, so why is it a fucking problem now? He's
Right.
44. He looked 44 in that game. Cowboys at the Vikings. Cowboys are one of the top teams in the NFL. I'm just going to say it now. I don't think they're as good as Green Bay, but they are pretty good. And the Giants and the Chiefs. Can I just say the Chiefs got away with a win? I don't know how good the Chiefs are. I really don't. I really don't.
They fell apart this season for some reason. And yeah, they did. They barely won against the Giants.
Right. So the Raiders and the Ravens had a bye this past week, so they did not play. They will be back this week. It's all right. But we'll figure that out by deduction, or you can look it up now. You can look it up on my phone if you want. Here. Okay. Okay. All right. So Bobbitt's not here, so I'm going to do a college corner real quick. It's not going to be much. I watched the Badgers destroy Iowa. I didn't see that one. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was. Wisconsin beats Iowa. Was it 27-7? Michigan lost to Michigan State. Michigan State's a pretty formidable team. Ohio State beat Penn State. Alabama, I think, was on a bye. Well, probably because they probably played a non-conference game, so we'll count that as a bye. Georgia dominated as usual. Cincinnati beat Tulane. I'm not gonna. I'll talk about them here in a minute because there is a lot of discussion and the original college, the first college football playoff rankings were released today. I will not go through all 25 teams, but a lot of Big Ten teams and a lot of SEC teams in the rankings this week. That's all I'll go with that. Notre Dame won again. I think they played Wake Forest is undefeated. They're playing well. Oklahoma probably looked the best they have all year. Um, Oregon is the best team in the Pac-12. Now I'm going to go through the college football playoff top 10, and then I'm going to give mine, and I'm going to give my reasons as to why. This is the actual committee that put out. And I respect their opinion, but they're wrong on some things, and
Hmm.
I'll explain. I'll explain. In my eyes, they're wrong. That doesn't mean that what I say goes. Keep that in mind, everybody. Okay. Number 10 is Notre Dame. I can understand that. Justified. They did lose to Cincinnati, so they are at 10. Wake Forest is at 9. They're 8-0. I don't think they're as good. They haven't. Clemson isn't very good this year. Up to Clemson standards, they aren't even in the top 10. I don't even think they're
No.
ranked.
Oh,
I don't even think they're ranked this year. I didn't really pay attention to it. They might be like somewhere 11 through 16, possibly. But Oklahoma is number 8. And I disagree with this wholeheartedly, and I'll explain why. Michigan is 7, and they didn't drop far because they did lose to Michigan State, who was undefeated. So they aren't going to drop too far. Cincinnati is number 6 at 8-0, and I disagree with that, and I'll explain why. Too easy to explain why. Number 5 is Ohio State. I disagree with that, and I will explain why. It's not a too big of an explanation. Number 4 is Oregon. I disagree with that, and again, I will explain why. The top 3 I agree with. Number 3, I have Michigan State. Number 2 is Alabama, and number 1 is Georgia. I agree with both of those. Michigan State has done nothing but win big games. Every game that they have played, they have won pretty handily. And then they played Michigan, who Michigan was winning this game for the most part, but then Michigan State took over and they won. So Michigan State deserves to be at the number 3 spot. I personally think Cincinnati is ranked way too high because, number 1, they don't fucking play anybody. And this is my argument. Yes, they beat Notre Dame, but how good is Notre Dame? Are they really the 10th best team in the country? I mean, let's take away 3 interceptions against Wisconsin for touchdowns, because I think that's what happened. They aren't beating Wisconsin by very much. Because Wisconsin was winning that game in the fourth quarter. They were ahead 13-10. So Wisconsin was there. Wisconsin's been in every game that they have played this year, except for the Michigan game, I think. You cannot count out. I cannot sit here and justify. I don't think Cincinnati can beat Wisconsin. I don't think they can beat Ohio State. I don't think they can beat Oregon. I don't think they can beat. I know they can't. I'll put it to you like this, and I say this every week. If Georgia was to play Cincinnati, I think Georgia beat them 52-3. They might get a touchdown. But that's how fucking good Georgia is. The pundits even say it. There is Georgia and everybody else this year. Even Alabama. They don't even think Alabama's going to be able to compete with Georgia. Alabama's number 2. Think about that for a second. Here's my top 10. Number 10, I got to get Notre Dame. Number 9, got to put Wake Forest in there. I dropped Michigan to 8 because they lost. I put Cincinnati at 7, again, because they don't fucking play anybody, but I'll respect them. They've won every game that they played. I'll give them a little respect. Ohio State's at 6. They're 7-1. That loss to Oregon hurts them. Oregon, kept them ahead of Ohio State because they beat Ohio State. They deserve to be there. I put Oklahoma at number 4, and everybody is I think people are disrespecting Oklahoma.
So you see something in Oklahoma that no one else sees.
It's not like they're playing bad. Maybe those teams that they're playing aren't as bad as what everybody thinks they are. Tulane I can understand. They've only won 1 game. However, if I'm doing this based on what I think Oklahoma can do, and I think they can beat everybody that is below them. I think they would beat Cincinnati by 30. I just don't see Cincinnati being all that. Everybody's all up in arms because they're being Cincinnati's being disrespected. But who do they play? The committee even said, who have they played? If somebody can justify them beating these lower tier teams the way that they have. In fact, the last 2 weeks they've struggled against pretty poor teams. I can't justify it. Yes, Tulane's almost beat Oklahoma. But the sun shines on the dog's ass every once in a while, right? I see Appalachian State beat Michigan, who was ranked number 3, and they were FCS school. They weren't even in the FBS yet. Okay? And they beat them. Sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while, right? Number 3, Michigan State. Number 2, Alabama. And number 1, Georgia. The reason Alabama's ranked number 2, they're the defending national champions. And the thinking of the committee, and I kind of agree with them, is that if Alabama, you could put Alabama at 3 or 4, but you put Alabama at 2. If Georgia beats Alabama, Alabama's not going to the playoff. Whoever is in 5 or 6 is getting in.
Yeah.
And right now, the way the committee has it, if Wisconsin beats Ohio State, Oklahoma's got a daunting schedule ahead of them. Cincinnati plays fucking UMass and Connecticut. That's the 2 worst teams in college football. And you want to sit here and say they deserve to play in the fucking college football playoffs. Come on, man. You're just going to fucking embarrass them. They don't have a chance. I wouldn't put a fucking team in just because, we feel sorry for you because you're a small school. Join the fucking Big Ten, quit your fucking bitching, and then fucking play with the big boys. You win there, then I will start giving you a little respect. They haven't beat Ohio State. They haven't beat fucking Michigan. They haven't beaten Wisconsin maybe 20 years ago. They haven't beaten anybody. So don't try and justify to me that they deserve to be there, because they don't. They don't. So with that being said, I think that's pretty much it for the College Corner. I'll do this again next week. I'll watch some college football, and then we'll get to that, and then we'll go from there. Now, what everybody's been waiting for. The picks. Heather is yawning over here. All right. Week 9. We're halfway. After this week, we'll be halfway, and I will give my power rankings. In fact, let me do that real quick. And Rayshawn and I kind of went through this earlier. I'm going to do the power rankings. Number 32, the Houston Texans. I disagree with that. I think it should be Detroit. Detroit is 0-8. They have a bunch of players that just don't give a shit. They have a coach that gives a shit. They have a bunch of players that don't give a shit. Detroit's number 31. I think if Houston played Detroit, I think Detroit would beat them. Or Houston would beat them. Number 30 is Jacksonville. I kind of disagree with that. I kind of think Miami deserves to be at number 30. All this talk about how great they were, and they suck.
People said that.
In fact, I might even put Detroit 32, Miami 31, Jacksonville, or Houston at 30, and Jacksonville at 29. Number 28, down 1 spot, Washington football team. Just can't. And they have a good defense. I don't know what's going on with them. The New York Jets, because they beat the Bungles, which they're sometimes justifiably called. Well, I know that, but they call them the Bungles because they can't get out of their own fucking way. Oh, yeah, because of the Bengals. Way back in the day, because the Bengals had 7 out of the 10 years ago, 7 out of the 10 times they picked number 1 because they were that fucking bad. Denver Detroit was picking number 1. New York Jets, number 27. They went up 4 spots. And again, the Bengals lost to Mike White. Mike White. The fuck is Mike White? He looked like an all-star in that game. He looked better than Zach Wilson did. That's all I'm going to say. At number 26, staying where they were the week before, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Giants. And I would actually put the Philadelphia Eagles at 25 and the Giants at 26. But the Giants are at 25, down one spot from 24 last week. Chicago Bears, down one spot from 23. Denver Broncos, down two spots from 23. And they won.
Yeah, I don't get it.
They aren't very good. The Atlanta Falcons, down two spots to number 22. The Carolina Panthers, up four spots to number 21. The Indianapolis Colts, down four spots to number 20. Minnesota Vikings, down four spots to number 19. And there you have it. Look at the discrepancy between Green Bay Packers and the rest of the NFC North. The highest ranked NFC North team is 19th. Down or up four spots from 22 the week before, the Seattle Seahawks. Up two spots from number 19 is the San Francisco 49ers. This week they're at 17. Down three spots to 16, the Cleveland Browns. They're
Miss Cleveland Brown.
they're
No way.
yeah. They're going to be in the toilet bowl again this year. Up three spots from number 15 is the New England Patriots. Up three spots to 14 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Up one spot to number 13 is the Kansas City Chiefs. Down three spots to number 12, the Los Angeles Chargers. They had things going, and then
Yeah.
down four spots to number 11, the Cincinnati Bengals. Up one spot to number 10, the Raiders. Up one spot to number 9, Tennessee. Up four spots to number 8, New Orleans. I honestly will put Tampa Bay right here. They deserve to be here. Up one spot to number 7, Baltimore. Down one spot to number 6 is the Rams. Down three spots, and I think this is where we'll put the Saints because they beat Green Bay. Because they haven't called their name yet. Is Tampa Bay. How is Tampa Bay still ranked ahead of fucking New Orleans when New Orleans just beat them?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
They're fucking apologists. That's what they are. Down one spot to number 4 is the Buffalo Bills. Down two spots to number 3 is the Arizona Cardinals. So we have a new number 1 team. I have not called two teams, and they're probably the two most celebrated teams in the NFL, in NFL's history. In history.
The Houston Oilers.
Which hey, they're pretty good. Hey, Cody, I'm just going to tell you this. Remember what happened the other night? Fucking grand slam. And they ended up losing 9-5. So don't get too excited. I'm pulling for the Braves, but I'm not getting too excited yet. I am pulling for the Braves because I fucking hate the Astros. So who do you think is number 1, everybody? Who do you think is number 2? I think Rayshon already knows because I'm trying to get the chat involved here. So, chat, who do you think is number 2 and who do you think is number 1?
Your time starts now.
There's two teams that I have not called, and that's Dallas and Green Bay. Which one's number two? Which one's number one?
Okay.
Okay. I'll wait
I
for one
think,
more.
yeah.
Okay. You are correct. Dallas is number two and Green Bay is number one. That has not happened in years. And then, of course, Dan Rex comes back with that. You are incorrect. Flip flop. It is Green Bay number one and Dallas number two. Green Bay deserves to be the number one team. They are playing, and they're getting back Devante Adams. They're getting back David Bakhtiari. They're getting back Zadarius Smith possibly, and they might be getting back Jair Alexander at some point. So Green Bay is probably gonna be, and personally, I'm just gonna say this now. I don't think, and I see, if you paid attention to my tweet yesterday, I did put out a tweet. I wasn't responding to anybody. It was just an actual tweet from me. There is one particular team that I think became the best team in the NFL, and it is not Green Bay. With the one acquisition that they made,
You want me to tell,
and it,
tell
and
everybody the
and
team?
it, and I got it, and it is the trade with Von Miller. So that team picking up Von Miller is probably the favorite to be Super Bowl champions now, based on what they have. But I've seen a team with a really good, solid defense look like a fool against Green Bay this past week. Because the Cardinals, and yes, it was without J.J. Watt, but they're still pretty good. That team would be the Rams. I think the Rams, with the moves that they made themselves the favorite with the experts because they have on the defensive line, and you could put Von Miller at a defense because he's an edge rusher, but he's a linebacker. At each level, the Rams have three really probably the best players at their position, and that's Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Jalen Ramsey. Arguably three of the best players at each level. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Now let's get to the picks. Let's pay attention now. The first game, it's tomorrow or Thursday night's game, and I don't even know if I'm going to watch this game because I don't care. It's the Jets at the Colts.
I'm
I,
going with
I,
the Jets.
I might actually check out Mass Singer. That's not
Uh-oh.
happening. That's not happening. I'm actually probably going to watch the game because I don't think there's anything on Thursdays. What do you got, Rayshawn?
Got the Jets.
You taking the Jets?
Yeah.
I'm taking the Colts. I am taking the Colts. I'm not.
Really?
Yes. I don't. I think the Jets.
I took the Colts this past week, and they failed me.
Okay, that's on you. That's why I didn't pick them because I didn't think they were winning. I think they're winning this week. That's why I'm picking. That's why I'm picking the Colts. I'm not dumb.
I
I
got
don't
to the
like
end
the.
of the first quarter.
I don't like the Colts, but I'm not dumb. You got everybody? Mm-hmm. Next game, Falcons at the Saints. Next game, Broncos at the Cowboys. Next game. Okay. Falcons. I'm sorry. I just beat us sorry. Falcons at the Saints. Who you got, Rayshawn?
I am going with the Falcons
To beat?
opposite. No, I'm going with the Saints.
Okay. Just gonna like what the fuck? I think you might. I think you would have learned something from me by now. God damn. I, I'm
Okay.
going with the Saints as well. Heather, who'd you go with in the Jets and the Colts? Heather went with the Colts and with the Saints.
Okay.
The next game, the Broncos at the Cowboys. I'm going
Broncos.
with the Cowboys. Rayshawn, who do you got?
I'm giddy up on that horse too.
So you're going with the Broncos or the
Cowboys.
Cowboys?
Cowboys. Oh, I get it. I get it. I get it. I'll go with the
Who are you going with, Heather? So all three of us on the panel picked the Cowboys. Bobbitt will get his picks later. Next game, Patriots at the Panthers. Heather, who you
Patriots.
got? Heather went with the Patriots.
Patriots.
I'm same. I'm same. I'm not dumb. I Panthers. I don't know if they're getting back or Christian McCaffrey anytime soon. Vikings at the Ravens. This might be a good defensive game. I will say that right now. If the Ravens can figure out their secondary issue, I think that's been the problem with them. I'm going with the Ravens because, come on, man.
I'm going with the Ravens. I think they needed a bye week,
Is
and
that
they
is
got
that
it.
the reason you're picking them? I'm picking them because they're playing the Vikings, but all three of us are going with the Ravens. The Browns at the Bengals. Which Bengals team are we gonna get this week?
Right.
I'm going with the
I'm
Bengals. They're better. They're the better team. I can understand if you pick the Browns, but this one's at home and it is a rivalry game. I don't trust the Browns right now. I trust the Bengals more than I trust the Browns. Heather, who you got? Heather's going with the Browns. Rayshawn, who do you got?
I am going with the Bengals.
Okay. So 2 out of 3 of us picked the Bengals. Heather picked the Browns. Bills at the Jaguars. Next game. Oh my God. We'll stay on this game for a minute because the next game, I don't even know if I want to fucking even. Fuck that shit. Bills at the Jaguars. Rayshawn?
Going with the Bills. Fuck you, Jags.
Yep, I'm going with the Bills as well. Heather? Just Jaguars have a ways to go. This game. Probably the two worst teams in the AFC. And I think this is a late day game. Like, why is this a late game? Texans at the Dolphins.
I'm going with the Dolphins, bro.
You going with the Dolphins,
Yeah.
Heather? I'm going with the Texans as well. I think the Dolphins are worse than the Texans.
Nah, I don't know, man.
Now, this one is in Miami. Actually, I'm gonna leave it right now, but I might change it. Just because I don't trust the Dolphins. They just know how to fucking lose at the end.
That's all. Sound like Texans too.
Raiders at the Giants. Heather? I'm going with the Raiders as well. Rayshawn?
I gotta support my New York team.
You ain't supporting?
I have to support New York. I'm going with the Raiders.
You're going with the Raiders? Okay. All right. No, I didn't. Okay. Fair enough. I don't know why he retracted his statement, but whatever. The next game, Chargers at the Eagles.
Ooh. Ooh.
I'm going with the Chargers.
See?
Heather, I'll come to you in a second. Heather, who you got? Rayshawn, who you taking?
I'm
It
taking the
isn't. It
Super
isn't
Bowl
Philly.
champs.
It isn't Philly.
I'm taking the Super Bowl champs.
Chargers.
Nah, Bobby would have said that. I'm going with the Eagles, man. I gotta go with the Eagles.
Okay.
I can't do that. I can't do it. I
Okay. Fine. It's all right. This is one of those. Oh, go ahead. What did you say?
oh, sorry. I said I would be pissed off if they lose.
Well, they're underdogs. You do realize that. So I wouldn't be too pissed off. If they keep it close, then I'd be happy, even if they lose. Um, this is. I don't know. This might actually be one. This week might actually be that week where they took. Um, this might be that added game for the week because the Packers are playing the Chiefs, and this is one of those games that was added. So, no, it's not because the Jets and the Colts. So, this game here is one of those games that was added out of the 17. So, they might have done this throughout the year and I didn't notice it. I just know that this game here is AFC regular season champion versus NFC regular season champion from last year. And that's the Packers at the Chiefs. Rayshawn, who are you taking?
Taking Packers.
Taking the Packers? Heather, who are you going with? This game scares me. Just like the Cardinals game scared me. But I'm going to go with the Packers. I cannot bet against them right now.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are a debunked. They can't figure out what the fuck they're doing. They just played a way lesser team. I mean, the Chiefs should have beat the fucking Giants 38 to fucking nothing last
Mm-hmm.
night and only won by 3.
Yeah.
How bad is it in Kansas City right now? Patrick Mahomes cannot get away from his stupid fucking mistakes. Andy Reid has said Patrick Mahomes needs to play better. Well, he didn't play any better this week than he did the last week, than he did the week before. He hasn't gotten better. If anything, he has regressed. And he still has the same fucking weapons he had last year. There are no fucking. His offensive line is better than it was last year. He has no fucking excuses. The Chiefs have no fucking excuses. Chiefs fans have no fucking excuses. I kind of like the Chiefs. I have family down there, so they're Chiefs fans. So I don't hate the Chiefs. I just think that Patrick Mahomes needs to grow the fuck up and
Yeah.
be a professional football player, not some fucking Madden wannabe.
Yeah.
Let the computer fucking game do that for you. You don't need to do it on the field because you're costing your team games. And it is Patrick Mahomes that is costing his team games. That's all I'm gonna say. Until he figures that shit out, I don't trust the Chiefs one bit. So I'm going Green Bay. 38 to 28 will be the final score. Next game, Cardinals at the 49ers. Cardinals just lost a game against Green Bay. The 49ers just won their game. It depends on which 49ers team shows up. And it also depends on which Cardinals team shows up. Will the Cardinals team that can fling the ball all over the field? DeAndre Hopkins was hurt against Green Bay. He got hurt. So he's been unhealthy and playing, but he's looked good. He didn't look very good last week.
This is definitely a toss-up. It's a toss-up game.
I'm
I
going.
am going.
Go ahead.
I I don't even know, bro.
Here, I'll pick first. I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
I'll follow you
Heather?
for now.
All 3 of us picked the Cardinals. Next game. The Derrick Henry-less Tennessee Titans are taking on the newly acquired Von Miller and the Los Angeles Rams. Rayshawn, who do you got?
I'm going with the Rams.
I am going to go with the Rams as well. However, I would not be surprised if the Titans figure it out like they did last week. But we shall see. I'm going to go with the Titans or the Rams for right now. Heather? Okay. And I'll let the chat catch up. Dan Rex, who do you have for the Chargers and the Eagles there, bud?
Pick the Eagles. Pick the Eagles.
That being said, I'll move on to the last game of the night, and then I'll tell you. You should be able to see it tonight. Okay. Okay. The Bears at the Steelers. So that ends our night, everybody. I'm going to turn it over to Heather because we don't even need to pick this game. If you're not picking the Steelers, you are one high motherfucker.
Do we get a Thursday pick too?
Nope. We'll do that next Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, the Thursday's game is the Jets at Colts. So next Tuesday. So that was only if we could do the show on Friday. That's the only reason I did that.
Got
You're
you.
good.
Got you.
You're good. That one time we'll just do the show on Friday and then start Tuesday. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that being said, everybody should be going with the Steelers because if you don't, you're a
Good.
fool. Heather, did you go with the Steelers? Yep. I went with the Steelers.
I'm
I'm
going with
sorry.
Steelers.
I'm sorry. I like Justin Fields. I think he's going to turn out to be a great quarterback, but the coach that they have is a fucking tool. He's a dipshit. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to let Heather take over. Go Braves. I am kind of a Braves fan. I was a Braves fan when they had David Justice, Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, and all those guys. So I'm with your grandma on that one. I just wish the Brewers were there for my dad's sake, but it's okay. Um, it'll happen someday, hopefully, before I die.
Yeah.
Um, but that being said, go Braves. They're up 6-0, so it's looking better and better.
Right.
Don't collapse. Heather's going to come over here. She's going to do the fantasy, and then she's going to do the chart and all that good stuff. You all have a good night, and I will talk to you Friday night when Heather and I play Little Hope. We'll keep the horror genre thing going on the Horny Goat next Friday. Well, is that like one of those games that it might take us a while? It might. Once I'm done with that, I will probably watch a shit movie and shit all over on Fridays over at the Horny Goat because why not? Let's have some fun, right?
Right.
I'm into watching whatever you people want me to watch. So keep that in mind. So I'm gonna pass it over to Heather. Everybody have a great night. Stay safe, be well, and be good to one another. Have a good night, everybody. It's
Good
gonna
night.
take me an hour to get the fuck out of here because I can't fucking walk. All right. Okay.
All right. How's everybody doing? So yeah, it was an interesting week in fantasy football.
It was.
I gotta say right now, I might drop Mahomes. Good Lord. He's been such shit on fantasy. But anyway, this week, who do y'all think is the top player in our fantasy
Wendy,
league? Huh?
Wendy is.
Well, she's the top napper, that's for sure. She just woke up. But actually, no. Rayshawn, you were the leader this week.
Come on, I knew that. I just wanted to be humble and say
Uh-huh.
Wendy, you know?
Yeah. Sure. Sure. You completely crushed Cody. 150.7 to 85.3.
Damn.
I came in second with 139.8, defeating Bobbit with 114.5. NG Fresh came in third with 109.9, defeating Tim with a 102.9. And Dan Rex, you came in last with 98.1, defeating Managerless Team to 81.0. Yeah, I would say so. There, Cody. the Going over the picks from last week. Who do y'all think did the best on the panel there?
I think Bobby actually did good.
He did all right. He did all right. He didn't do the best though.
Oh, okay. But that's you. So you
You
did the
all right.
best.
I
With
did
that
the
response,
best.
I knew it was you.
I did the best out of the picks with 11 and 4.
Okay.
Bobbitt did 9 and 6. And JP and Rayshawn tied at 8 and 7.
Wow.
For the chat, the winner was Alpha with 11 and 4. Then you got Trek, Danrex, Tim, and Cody and Ryan, following very close to him with 9 out of 6.
You see? I don't know. They sharing pics or something. I don't know.
With that being said, let's bring you on over to the chart. See where everybody's score is at the moment.
Awesome, awesome. I'm in first place. That's how I like. Oh,
Yes, so far in the chat, we still have Cody in the lead at 77, and Tim and Trek tied at 75. But Danrex is very close behind them at 70, and Alpha's even closer behind them at 72. On the panel, we have me in the lead with 80.
I don't care about you.
Then JP with 73.
God damn.
Bobbitt at 71. And Rayshawn at 70.
so behind. I gotta come back on that horse, man. And I'm
Yes,
not talking about the Broncos.
that you do. But on that note, just to remind everybody why we are getting these picks, because the top 3 winners are going to be getting a special prize. And that prize is a bundle this year, and it's dedicated to our dear friend Chance, who passed away. And we have named these awards the Bubba Awards. So here's your... How you doing, Ryan? Coming in right at the end.
Just kidding, man, Ryan. What's up?
Here is your reminder of these prizes. And there we have it, folks. We're going to get out of here for tonight. We shall see you again on Tuesday on this channel. But tomorrow, over on the Horny Goat, we are going to be playing the newest release of Jackbox Party 8. So be sure to be there tomorrow night and enjoy all the fun. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you soon.